Make sure this time I don't have any snot in my nose. All right, this is the first real day of starting on that project. Don't know how it's gonna go. We're just gonna do some simple clearing out, getting ready for some piers and some spots that we're gonna start the actual structure. Probably won't talk much because I did realize that the water and the falls over there, it's pretty fucking loud, so I'll try and keeping the talking to a minimum. That way you don't hear that throughout the video. I'll probably just do an overlay or something. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I pretty much have everything cleared out that I had there before. So essentially, I'm planning to change what I had built just like 3 feet out that way. And really the biggest problem that I'm facing right now is building pillars in that water, because I just quickly measured it out right now and it's gonna be the halfway point. There's gonna be a pier right in the deepest part of that little stream. Yeah, I know there is ways to make pillars in water with concrete. It's just gonna be a little more difficult. I will try it out, and if not, I may have to adjust the pier over to the left so it's not in the water. So right now, I'm just gonna go ahead, measure out the exact corners of the building, roughly where they're gonna be, take the shovel, clear out the area. So I have the 12-foot length marked out over there, and I have an 8-foot mark over here. The thing is that I don't know if it's square. Now, what do I mean by that? This is my 12-foot length that I just measured for from pier to pier. And I just marked out my 8-foot length over here. If I mark it from the central point where my fucking nose is, if I marked it out from where my nose is, pointing in this little crevice right here, I don't know if this is square or not, because I could have done 12 feet over here, and it could be just slightly off, and I could have done 8 foot over here, but it might be slightly off. So I actually don't know if these are going to be square. Now, how we do that is we measure from this corner to this corner, and how we make sure that we know that it's square for sure is we have to get the hypotenuse. High school is coming back to you, isn't it? But this is the important part. But you can go online, you can figure out what find a hypotenuse calculator or something like that. But what the hypotenuse method is the equation is if a squared plus b squared, the equation of the hypotenuse is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's what we need to know. And with this formula, these two measurements will be square if that hypotenuse is exact. So anyways, I'm not gonna explain my math, but the answer is 14 foot 5 inches. What I'm gonna do is measure from this little point to this little point and make sure that it's 14 5 inches or somewhere around there. Making piers, it doesn't have to be super precise, but the more precise, the better. really makes sense. I hope seeing it in visual practice may have worked a little better. Essentially what I did is I just measured out 8 feet over there. I put a little mark, as you can see, that little 2x4. And I did the same thing for the 12-foot measurement. And then I just measured from the 8-foot to the 12-foot measurement and kind of slightly adjusted it. I slightly adjusted it over here just to make sure that it was going to be sitting both at 18 feet, or oh my god, both at 8 feet and 14 foot 5, according to the 12-foot mark. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out the 4th corner and last corner over there, and all I'm going to do is measure 12 feet from here and over, and 8 feet from that far corner over. It's like I'm vlogging right now. Unlike my camera, I don't have night vision, so I'm not actually going to be able to keep working right now. But we'll end it for tonight, and then maybe tomorrow we'll come back and start pouring some concrete. Okay, I may be jumping the gun a little bit. I actually don't think I can pour concrete yet. There's a lot of fucking water. I may have to wait for a week until the water kind of settles down. Hopefully it doesn't rain by then. We've got everything marked out that we need, and essentially that's, again, like I said at the start, it's just a rough estimation of where my little posts, my concrete posts and footings are gonna go. It doesn't have to be exact. Like I said, the more precise the better. From there, it's coming across and ending in this little hole here. I also have a little stick that fell over, but essentially in that dugout area closest to the water, so like right there, that's where that pillar is going to go, and another one somewhere in here. Hopefully not in the deepest part, because I will have to move these rocks out of the way to get it to this nice Canadian bedrock. Then coming across, it's going to go over there and land on either one of these boulders. Unfortunately, it is on the most flat part, so I may have to move this part over. The problem I'm having is that over here is just so tangled in roots and like separated rocks that it makes it kind of hard to build a nice secure pillar system here. Some of these rocks over here, some of these boulders over here are actually like pretty sturdy. They're just like stuck in the ground. They're not actually, hopefully not going to move anywhere. It's just a matter of rebar, concrete, and a flat surface to put wood on top. That motherfucker, that's gonna be difficult because I have no idea the situation, and it is like, there's like 2 inches of water to the tip of that rock just above it. So I need this water to go down at least 6 inches for me to kind of work over there. I'm just gonna walk out away from the falls, and hopefully we can find a quiet place to talk. All right, hopefully much better, much quieter. Don't have to yell so much. So something I just wanted to explain is when I was talking about those pillars on one side to the other at the 12-foot length, I'm talking about putting a pillar in the middle. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm using refurbished lumber. I don't know if there's 12-foot lengths available to me, so I thought that I might as well use some 6-foot lengths that I do have available to me to go from 6 foot to the center of the post to another 6-foot 2x8 piece. If I want to go the full distance of the 12-foot length, I need 2-ply 2x8. I mean, I don't need it, but I would feel much more comfortable with the weight bearing on 2-ply material for the outside wall. I want the structure to be good and not just like a shitty little shack and it will fall over, so trying to make it as strong as possible. Anyways, we're gonna come back tomorrow and we're gonna be a little more direct with where these pillars are gonna go. We're gonna chalk some lines, we're gonna draw some lines and make sure that we know exactly where each pillar will be sitting and make sure that it's all square. I'm gonna snap my fingers and it's gonna be tomorrow. Okay, I'm back for the best part. It's been about like 2 weeks since I last did this, so I was kind of sick, just a little bit of a sickness. Didn't really feel like coming out. Anyways, I'm back and I've got all the perfect supplies to start the pillars. So we've already marked out kind of roughly where these pillars are gonna go. So now we're gonna go ahead and start mixing some concrete. first we're gonna start drilling some holes. Now we gotta drill holes for the rebar. You're probably wondering, why you gotta even like drill holes for rebar? Like just put the concrete forms on and just make a pillar. No, wrong. So we need to drill holes for rebars because it acts as a connecting point from the bedrock to the concrete post. If I just make a concrete post and set it onto the bedrock, it's gonna be very easy, or not easy, but eventually it can easily snap or slide or shift around while it's setting. And even once it's fully set and there's this big cemented concrete block here, eventually over time it will be much easier for that rock to shift. It'd be like putting a rock on top of bedrock than building my house off of it. Not really structurally sound. But if you drill a hole through both of those concrete rocky points and then put a piece of metal through, it's not gonna slide around, it's not gonna move. And it shouldn't move once it's set like that with the rebar through it and a whole house sitting on top of it. Should be strong enough, it's not going anywhere. No matter what the gods throw at it, like tons of water through the spring. So let's go ahead to those markings and let's start drilling. Okay, so I just want to show pretty much what I have to make these columns, these pillars, okay? So over here we got a rock drill, just to drill the holes to plant the rebar. Now I know that doesn't look like actual metal rebar because it's not. It's something new. So this stuff, apparently it's like new carbon fiber material, fiberglass material. It's apparently it's supposed to be super lightweight, super strong, and it's supposed to be able to do the exact same job as concrete. So hopefully it works. I can't see why it wouldn't. But we're gonna find out. So anyways, we got 2 of those. It should be enough for 2 each in each post. So that's 4 little pieces. That's all we need. Then we got some sonotubes for the forms of the pillars. We probably won't be able to use all of it. We won't need that much. And then obviously we got the concrete. So what I'm thinking for this is that pretty much the posts that are gonna be sitting there and over there, I don't really need them to be that high, although the water will get high. I'm relying more on my 6x6. Don't worry, I have bigger ones of those. But pretty much I just need a flat level surface to put these bad boys in, and then just have the 6x6 go off of that, and it should be nice and level and all fine. So realistically, I'm just gonna put most of the concrete on that far pillar over there where my tape is, if you can see that, and then 8 feet across over there onto that rock. So let's do it. Okay, so we got those 2 pillars pretty much marked out. I just want to make sure the next pillar is going to be like really close to where I need it to be, because this is the make or break to see if it's square or not, or whatever. We already did the squaring already. Just, you know, I kind of slightly changed it over there, slightly changed it over here. So now I just got to make sure that this next corner is going to be perfect. But it's going to be much easier now, because now I have 2 cemented points that they're not full of cement, but that's where they're gonna go. Like, I know for sure. I got pegs there, 8 feet apart. Now I just gotta make sure that this next one is 12 feet, and I think it was 14'5" was the other one. Can't remember, it's been like, in a couple weeks, so let's do it. So now we've got everything drilled out. We got the little pink rebars. We got them in there, yeah. And I'm starting to remember why I hate where I live so much. You probably can't see it, but the black flies are starting to come out, and if you're in northern Canada, you know black flies, and they suck. They're like smaller than mosquitoes if you don't know, and like they still suck blood and everything, but they're so much smaller, and they get in everywhere. They come in swarms, and especially in a place like this, just like mosquitoes, you know, like in the summertime when the water's low, it's not rushing. The perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes, right? And black flies. They breed. It's all still water. It's perfect for them. It sucks for me. Now I got to build around that, but I can endure. I understand. They need sustenance, like all of us. Anyways, so we got those all marked out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the sonotubes. The sonotubes are going to sit in a way that it should match the ground, right? So I'm going to constantly level the sonotubes and make sure that they're all good, nice and level, and then I'm going to pour the concrete. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do right now. I figured this is a perfect time to sit down and just have a break and kind of, you know, get away from the mosquitoes and wildlife out there and tell you about today's sponsor, 7-Up. Wow, crisp and clean, no calories. Ugh. Yeah, maybe don't do that. It's funny because even though this place is so kind of like open, I don't know if you can tell, but if you like look around, just move this around a little. Wow, weird. So if you take a look around, you know, there's some obvious open gaps and everything, and not everything's perfectly sealed, but these big openings, these big windows, they do have a bug net. Same with over there, you can't tell because of the sun, but trust me. Trust me. It's bug netted, so like while I'm working on this, if the bugs get really bad, I can always just sit in here, take a break, and it's quite nice and peaceful. And hopefully you guys can hear me better because we're getting closer to the summertime. The water's not rushing so much, and in the summertime you'll barely hear the falls, which is unfortunate, but it's still very scenic. All right, let's get back to it.
Whoa.
Here we are. You can kind of start to visualize what we're looking at.
Oh yeah. Oh freaking yes. Yes, that looks a little not level. Maybe. It is definitely more higher than that one. I wish I did make that one a little higher. But again, we're only limited to these bags. I didn't want to spend any more on concrete. I thought that was should be good enough, right? And then if you can imagine, we got our 6x6 saddle that sits in there, and then the post can go all the way until I want it to stop. So we'll pull it up like a couple feet here, and out there, definitely a lot higher. And what I'm thinking is once we run joist to joist, right across there, we'll brace the post against the joist, and we'll have a nice, strong triangle. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mix some concrete. Thankfully we've got a stream right beside us, so we'll just fill up with the water we have supplied to us, and then we'll mix it in with the concrete, and before you know it, we'll have concrete. And then we're gonna start pouring. Quick note, I just want to say that if you notice how the concrete is like kind of not set, it's not sitting like level or flush, I kind of did it earlier. I just want to show you what I'm doing. All you do to fix that is you can take a stick or anything, give it one of these, and by doing that you make a perfectly level surface, because it's kind of like liquid, so kind of like a level with the water in the air bubble. Water naturally levels out because gravity. So it looks like we need just a tiny bit more in here, but we're gonna try and fill it up as high as we can. We're gonna do the same for all of them. It looks like this is one bag. This is one full bag. So it looks like I did get the perfect amount. Probably gonna be using less over on the other pillars, closer to the cabin, but these ones we wanna fill right to the brim. I guess it's also important to mention that concrete's beautiful where there's a certain consistency that you want. It's not soupy, but it's not like gravel. It's like a stew. You want a stew. And once you get that consistency and you get used to getting the right consistency, if you go a little too wet, a little too soupy, you add a little concrete. If it's a little too concrete-y and gravelly, you just add a little more water. Yeah. So we've made a lot of progress so far. We got 4 pillars full of concrete and hopefully square. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna put these bad boys in their respective spots. So when I set them in here, I have to make sure as accurate as possible, because I left these a little long, I can't set my saddle on the corner here, right? I have to set it in the middle, or somewhere close to the middle, or it's gonna get all out of level and out of whack. Now you're not actually supposed to set these in right away. You're supposed to let the concrete set, come back the next day and drill the hole. So we're gonna go ahead and set this somewhere in the middle and make sure that this is somewhat square to over there. Now this having a stroke. Now this saddle is not sitting level or whatever. It's fine. We can take the post that's gonna be sitting on here. Here, let me show you. This is the post. Right, so this post is gonna sit in this saddle like that. But it doesn't really matter if this saddle is actually level or not, because we can just slightly adjust this with shims underneath. We'll make sure that it's sitting square. But the important thing is that this saddle can attach the wood to the concrete to the bedrock. One continuous support. That's what we're trying to do. Well, we did it. There it is. We've got them all set up right there. Yeah, it's pretty good, pretty good. So again, like I said, it's better to set these up with, let them set, let the concrete set, then the next day drill a hole, put the concrete cement in. It's like a liquid tube. It's like a 2-part epoxy, but it's for concrete. It's pretty cool. And then after you put that inside, then you put the saddle on top in, like, you saw the little peg? You saw the little peg. You put that through, and then it sets or whatever. But that allows you the next day to make sure the saddles are perfectly set to where they need to be. However, I'm not going off any codes. I am trying to make it pretty accurate, but it's okay if I skip a few steps. As long as it's bedrock with rebar to concrete, concrete to saddle, saddle to post, which then we can start framing, which is undoubtedly the best part about any trade. Framing an actual house, framing a building, a bridge, anything of the sorts, that's where the real fun is. Anyways, get this nice beautiful waterfall in the background. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. And as always, stay thick, stay chonk, stay beautiful, my followers. And I'll see you in the next. Love you all. Okay. Okay, bye now. Okay, you can leave now. You can leave now. It's okay. You don't have to be here anymore.